Well, hello. My name is Javier Velasquez. I am a professor assistente at the University of O'Higgins in Chile. I have a PhD in criminology from the University of Glasgow, and I used to work for the Chilean Prosecution Service, at least for 5 years. I just finished a study on pretrial detention in Chile on March, and I'm currently working in a project on the principle of legality in Chile, how prosecutors are dealing with dismissing cases or considering which cases are going to take for trial. And another project where we're exploring how the criminal justice system in Chile is dealing with more complex and organized crime. I don't like this concept of exceptionalism, but I do think that the way that the criminal justice system was reformed in the late 90s and was created and designed from scratch with a lot of influence of new public management and managerialism has transformed it in a system that is very particular. Because in several other countries they have modernized the criminal justice system, but Chile was reforming it and creating it from scratch. We created a prosecution, a public defendant. There were institutions that did not exist before. And we also created new kind of judges that did not exist before. So a lot of has been going on is kind of novel in terms of the system. And we are still trying to figure it out how good or how bad are we performing it. Again, as a former practitioner, I think that the magic happened at the court. But then it's not just the court, because if you want to understand how prosecution works or the public defender, you have to go to the workplaces. I think the big criticism that you could do towards the traditional way to understanding and study the law is that if we want to understand law in practice, we have to go and observe law in practice. The big problem, though, is that court observation is very expensive, very time-consuming, and sometimes very frustrating. At the same time, interviewing prosecutors and public defenders is also another way to give them a voice where they can actually talk about what they're doing. And sometimes it's like a black box. Like the judges write down a large judgment and you need to try to figure out what they were thinking. The golden standard should be a mixed method. And actually, by reading your work, I realized that they were making similar questions in terms of how that maybe we should actually start looking differently to what is going on, and we need to try to understand this ecological environment when different actors interact within each other within a system that demand them certain outcomes, and then that a system that also recognizes that they have certain discretion. So it's a very complex salad of stuff. Trying to do that, trying to map in what's going on, because I think sentencing literature will actually get richer if we can actually map what is going on, considering right now that you are producing research in Slovenia, I'm working in Chile, and it seems that sentencing is no longer just a common law based research area, but it's more international and broad, and there's different kind of cultures and experiences that are bringing material to discussions.